Sziasztok! Sziasztok mindenkinek! Bár most majd átváltunk mindjárt
Na,
holra. Hello!
hello, elfordítsuk, várjál, én is elfordítom.
Jaj, szuper!
Végre összejött, akkor nem tudom, hogy mi lehetett a baj.
De én sem. Nem tudom, lehet, hogy az én profilomon valami nincsen jól beállítva, és azért volt, én nagyon kezdő vagyok ebben.
Én is amúgy.
Fennakadásokért, de sikerült!
Juhu! Okay, yay, but it has to be in English.
Yeah, all right.
So we're gonna do one in Hungarian, but for now let's keep it in English. And thanks, Fati. So okay, it's on your account, but I'm going to lead it, okay? Because we have a lot of questions. So
yes, I'm ready.
Fatima, thank you so much for accepting the invitation from the Seasterhood, this small initiative that we started with two freediver friends of mine, basically to, you know, share information, share the journey, and most importantly, to make people curious about this beautiful sport. And so thank you once again for being here with us today and sharing a little bit of your journey with us. And what I thought for today, before starting with questions, for you to tell us, people who don't really know freediving, what is freediving, and maybe a little bit the categories and your favorite disciplines.
Okay, so first of all, just let me practice a few sentences in Hungarian because I can see a lot of people are watching from Hungary, and so sziasztok mindenkinek, nagyon köszönöm, hogy meghoztatok, és imádottan hazafelé. Ez az interjú most angolul lesz, de fogunk csinálni majd egy magyar verziót is, és igen, természetesen magyar vagyok, teljes szívemből, de most úgy beszéltük meg, hogy angolul lesz az interjú, mert a Seasterhood követői és a lányok angol a közös nyelvük, úgyhogy ezért most angolul van az interjú. Úgyhogy aki nem tud angolul, az kövesse az oldalunkat, és majd csinálunk egy magyar verziót is. Úgyhogy...
De cuki vagy. Igen, mindenképp majd magyarul is. And I forgot, sorry, I'm gonna switch back to English. I forgot a very important thing, even though I probably don't have to introduce you that much, but Fatima Korok is the first Hungarian world champion freediver who dived 81 meters deep on one single breath in free immersion category and other categories too pretty deep, which she's going to tell us about. But first, let's start with what is freediving.
Yeah, so what is freediving? You know, when we are talking about freediving, people, they might think this is all about the adrenaline and going deep and hardcore training, but freediving is basically anything that you do on breath hold and the water. So to do that safely, like that's why the first and most important rule of freediving, that you should do that with someone. So you should have a buddy. So either if you go to a swimming pool, probably most of the people have done it when you were kids, let's say. You just jump into the swimming pool, you take a big breath, and then you go underwater, and then you just floating around a little bit. That's freediving. Or when you are holding your breath, in a lake, in a river, in whatever kind of water, even back home, then that's also freediving when we are just floating on the surface. Well, that's another thing if we're talking about competitive freediving, right? Because competitive freediving is a different level that's already sport. But freediving can be just like a holiday activity for anyone checking out the sea life, swimming with the fish or the turtle, or if you're lucky, then with bigger animals like dolphins or whales. So freediving is a very useful skill that everyone can learn because we were born to freedive. About the sport of freediving, we call it line diving because you have a buoy and it's connected a rope to the buoy, so it's giving you like a very safe way to go and discover the depth of the seas. There are some swimming pools, deep swimming pools, for example, in Italy, where you can do freediving. But let's say the real experience comes when you go to the sea, and there you go discover your own depth. You mentioned that I became a world champion in free immersion. Like maybe some people, they don't know what is free immersion. Free immersion actually means when you are not using fins and you're pulling yourself down and up by the line, not using your legs, and there is a constant weight on you, so you're not dropping the weight when you're going the way up back to the surface. So this is free immersion. It's also a beginner technique. So most of the people, if you enroll to a freediving course, this is going to be the first discipline that you're gonna learn from your instructor, because this is the easiest. That requires the less effort to go down and up. And also, this is the most relaxed discipline, so you can focus more on equalization and learn how to equalize the pressure when you dive deeper.
Is it your favorite discipline? There are other disciplines, right, with bifins and monofin, but which one is your favorite? Do you have one?
There are different, there are different disciplines. I personally do the depth discipline, although there is the static discipline, which means that you're floating in a confined water, holding your breath and not moving. This is my least favorite discipline. And this
most
is
freedivers' least favorite.
Most of the freedivers probably agree on that. So there is also the pool discipline, the dynamic disciplines where you swim horizontal. This is also another discipline. What I'm not doing it, but you are the profession in that competition.
I'm the one doing the pool. You're the one.
So I do the depth disciplines. So in depth discipline, the pre-immersion, I mentioned that one. That's, let's say, the first one, the easiest one. But it's not my favorite one. My favorite one is the hardest discipline, which is called CNF, which is constant weight no fin. That means that you're not allowed to touch the rope. You're descending and ascending to have the reference, the rope. You're not allowed to touch it just once when you turn on the bottom of the rope. And basically, it's a modified breaststroke swimming down and up. Because you don't have any support, that's why this is the hardest discipline, but also this is a discipline where you can truly feel the water and how you're moving to the depth and how you're surfacing, just using your own power.
Where you feel the freest.
Yeah, this is the purest discipline, the purest way to freedive, not having fins, not touching the rope, just on your own. The other disciplines, I also like them. I like basically all disciplines, is with the fins. So you can use biofins or you can use a monofin. I haven't used a monofin last year because I had my beautiful alchemy biofins, which was a huge surprise and a big discovery for me, how beautiful it is to dive with biofins, because before I got my alchemist fins with carbon fins, I had plastic fins. And I was training with the plastic fins for months. And then when I switched my plastic fin to the carbon fins, that was a whole new world. So I really like diving with the biases. I did that also on the World Championship. There is no category in the World Championship for the biofin, but I didn't have a monofin, so I had to do it with the biofin, and that was also a new national record for Hungary. So I was
Amazing.
for that journey as well with a biofin. With a monofin, that's a completely new thing for me. So I was supported by the Mochinovs this year with a beautiful monofin that soon I'm gonna create some content for my Instagram account, showing you how I progress with my monofin. It's definitely, you know, the closest feeling where you can really feel like a mermaid with the
Yeah.
with the big tails. So I'm gonna work on that one for this year with the monofin.
That's amazing. We're very excited to see your progress on that. So this is my next question, what I wanted to ask. How did you do it in 11 months? Like, for any sport, you know, you need a lot of athletes, you know, they prepare for such a long time. And I mean, I guess it was a lot of work, but how did you do it? How did you start? Why did you start freediving? I think we also had a couple of people asking, yeah, like, where do you start this?
So this is a huge topic, and I could talk like hours and hours on it.
Yeah.
Probably when I'm gonna manage to write my book, then there's gonna be one of the main topics. Uh, but I'm gonna try to say the long story in short. So I was working as a tour guide and as a project manager in Budapest for like 7 years. So I was working in the tourism. I had a busy working life. I was focusing on my career, and I pretty much neglected myself, my health, and my well-being for quite a long time. Uh, but I have passed as a competitive synchronized swimmer. So when I started freediving, I didn't start it from scratch, not being able to swim and that I didn't feel comfortable in the water. When I was like 3 months old, my parents they took me to baby swimming. So basically, I could swim before I could talk or walk, which is a big. It's a you know, it helped me on the way. So I can recommend that anyone that take their babies to baby swimming, so they can connect to the water already before they would connect with anything else. That's it. Synchronized swimming was like 5 years from my life, and I always enjoyed competing. So after I quit my job and I started to travel, I was living in Spain, I was living in Mexico, I lived for a while in Honduras, and that's where I did my first freediving course in Honduras in New Zealand. But before that, I was already dreaming about freediving, but I never found anyone to do it, and I was warned not to do it alone. So I had to wait until the opportunity came, and I signed up for a freediving course. And it was for 2 days. And by the end of the 2 days, I was holding my breath for 3 minutes, and I was diving to 21 meters. So I was like, wow, that was easy. That was beautiful. That's amazing. So I'm sure there is much more. And I remember calling my parents, and I was like, I'm going to be a free diver instead of being a scuba diver, because I was on the island because I wanted to do my dive master course. I was traveling as a scuba diver. And then I had the idea that I'm just going to leave the tank on land, and I'm just going to go in the water and be a free diver.
Fati, no, right now, wait. You got disconnected for a second. Now, yes.
Okay. Because that was somebody calling from the internet where I'm getting my connection. Okay. Now it's good. So where was I?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Only your picture is a little bit okay. Yeah, so the last thing I heard was that you wanted to become a free diver instead of a scuba diver because you did the course and you discovered how amazing it is.
Yeah. So I was in Mexico diving in the cenotes without like knowing about actual line diving, like about the sport, and that potentially it can be a career as a free diving instructor. But I always felt very comfortable in the water, probably thanks to the baby swimming and the competitive synchronized swimming, where we are also holding our breath and doing dance movements upside down with a nose slip in the swimming pool. So it's not really far away from what I'm doing now. So when I got here in Dahab, that was in 2018 in October, and I could already dive down to this 21, 22 meter. I did it once, but I still did it. So when I came here with a plan that I'm going to be a freediving instructor, I'm going to be a national record holder, and I'm going to switch my career to freediving. And I wanted to find a balance, and I wanted to have a healthy life. And I thought that freediving can be the way how I'm gonna find this balance and how I'm gonna be happier and healthier in my own skin. And at the same time, I just wanted to live by the sea and find something that's gonna give me the opportunity to do that. So this is how I came to Dahab. Well, when I got here to Dahab, I think I've never been that happy in my life in the first 2 weeks. I had buddies here. Dahab is like the mecca of freediving. So if you come here, you're a complete beginner or whatever what is your level, you're gonna find people to dive with. They're amazing people here, yoga instructors, freedivers, freediving instructors, and also like surface people, obviously. And
amazing. I dream of going to Dahab once. I heard all amazing stuff about it.
Yeah, it's
paradise.
I did my research where I can go to freedive to be able to go from completely beginner level to whatever level I can reach. And I found that Dahab is the best place to come because the water conditions are just perfect. There is a very nice weather. There are no currents, and it's a very quiet and peaceful little town by the sea. So there is not so much distraction. So it was just the perfect place to come and start my journey as a freediver. But the first 2 weeks it went pretty fast. I got to 50 meters, which is let's say the requirement for an instructor course is 40 meters. But just because I could dive to 50 meters, it doesn't mean that I had the knowledge what I was doing. I did it because I enjoyed it. And there was no barrier, there was no block, there was not any wall that could stop me. I was hearing it all the time from people that you should slow down, you're gonna injure yourself, you're gonna hit the wall, and then something's gonna happen, and then nothing really happened that could stop me. So I felt very unstoppable, and that was my happiest place ever when I did my dives. I did also some coaching sessions in the first week with a very nice couple with Sol and Omar. They are teaching here in Dahab. So they introduced me to competitive freediving because I came here with the plan that I was going to take part in a competition. So my first competition I did when I was doing freediving for a month. And that was my first national record because in Hungary, not really a lot of people have been doing deep freediving. So let's say it was a very reachable depth and a very reachable goal that I would like to be the national record holder of my beloved country. So I did it, and then the idea came that okay, I would like to participate in the World Championship because none of the Hungarians they did participated the World Championship in freediving before. I mean depth freediving because that was a Hungarian group. They did pool World Championship many years ago, but not in deep freediving. So I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing opportunity. So I put all of my plans aside. I never left Dahab, and I stayed here in Dahab straight for 8 months. And that was, to be honest, the hardest 8 months ever in my life. After the 2 happiest weeks that I had, it was a lot of training. It was a lot of mistakes that I have done, and it was a beautiful journey. But at the same time, it was kind of a lonely journey, and also because I was new. Can you call back, please? I don't know what happened. It's like something. I'm gonna put it down. Okay. It's actually not my phone, so I hope there is no problem with it.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry everyone. I'm here. Where was I?
Okay, so where were we at? Yeah, you were saying that it was tough, those
now
8
I
months.
have done the 11 months, yeah. So like the thing is that it wasn't really 11 months, right? Because I had a path already as a freediver. I was I didn't start it from the scratch that a lot of people they do when they spend their life working in business, and when they're in their 30s or 40s, they're just like, oh, I want to try freediving. And obviously you can do that because you have the body, you have the lungs, everything is there to be a freediver. But to be a competitive freediver and then to reach a certain level, that needs a lot of dedication and a lot of training and a lot of sacrifices. So that's what I've been doing for these 11 months. I sacrificed the time from being social. I was not really going out a lot because I spent most of the time on training and on resting. Like resting is the most important part of training. So instead of going out, having, for example, a beer with the friends, I was staying sober for a year and a half, and I was very well focused on my training. I was dreaming about freediving. I was planning freediving when I was eating. I was thinking about diving when I was doing my stretching. I did a lot of meditation. I did a lot of visualization. I did hardcore trainings in the gym. I did a lot of cardio workouts. I did a lot of breath hold exercises. So it was a very busy 11 months. But I enjoyed it.
That's a huge commitment.
Yeah, it is. It is. But if you want to be the best version of yourself, you want to be committed to something what you enjoy.
I 100% agree. So my question is related to that. What is your next goal with freediving?
Wow. Okay. So my next goal is basically to get back on track. These last few months, they were pretty rough on me, mostly mentally. I've been also sick for quite a few weeks. It was not the coronavirus, but I was not really healthy to improve and to do like a good well-structured base training for myself. Also, the World Championships are cancelled for this year. Probably there are going to be competitions by the end of the year, but I'm not sure yet about exactly where I'm going to do the competition. I have some plans going to Kalamata and compete there, or to somewhere to Southeast Asia to a nice smaller competition, because I've never been in Southeast Asia, so that's one of my plans. And also here, if there's gonna be a competition in Dahab, because I'm planning to be here in Dahab in October, November, to do some instructing, coaching, but also like training for myself. Then I would be happy to join small competitions here in the beautiful Blue Hole. So my plan is to get healthy again and focus on my nutrition and getting back my energy, and then slowly get back on the track. And I would like to focus on the monofin dives, as I mentioned in the beginning. And I really would like to improve my CNF diving, because this is one of the kind of like funny and ridiculous part about my World Championship, because I got disqualified from my CNF dive, so the no fin dive on the first day, because I just didn't know the rule. You have to sign up on the beach 1 hour before your official dive time. So I went there too late. So I got a red card for disqualification before my actual dive. So
Oh no! But well,
really
you learn for the next time.
Yeah, I definitely learned that lesson.
Okay, so we have still a lot of questions. I hope we will have time for all of them. Some of them are a little bit like, let's say, frequently asked questions. I have heard this a lot, and I think it's important to clarify this, so I'm going to ask it. A lot of people ask if freediving is dangerous, and if holding your breath for such a long time damages your brain, or how does that work? A lot of people think this, and so it's the opportunity to clarify this.
Okay, so I'm gonna be short on this. We'll try. So, in general, freediving is not a dangerous sport, not more dangerous than anything that you do out in the nature, like, let's say, rock climbing. So freediving is about discovering yourself, discovering your body, discovering your mind. It's not about pushing and reaching your limits and blacking out after you dive. It shouldn't be like that. So if you follow your feelings, basically, if you feel well, if you feel nice, if you are knowledgeable of what you are doing, so that means that you're not putting yourself in dangerous situations while you are freediving, and you're pushing yourself on, really reaching your limits, then you're not going to have any problem. Holding your breath is not causing any brain damage when you hold your breath for a safe period of time. Well, what does it mean, safe period of time, right? It's different for everyone. But let's say holding your breath for 4 minutes, it's also something that I personally struggle with. Like I had these questions also from people, how you can hold your breath for so long, you're holding your breath for 4 minutes. No, usually I don't hold my breath for 4 minutes. It's not something what I do for fun. What I do for fun is having a strawberry shake. That's what I do for fun. Going into the water and swimming around. this is what I do for fun. Holding my breath for 4 minutes is something that requires a lot of discipline and requires a lot of relaxation and preparation. So 4 minutes is the time of instructor level. Everyone can hold their breath for 1-2 minutes. This is something that your body is capable of doing it because you have enough oxygen in your body to hold your breath. What most of the people they feel at the urge to breath, it's not because you don't have enough oxygen in your body. It's the rising level of CO2, and this is causing you that uncomfortable feeling, and it's causing you also, maybe some of you you know about the contraction of the breathing muscles. So this is something that with the training you got over it, and then you never want to cross your limits, because when you cross your limits, and then in freediving it means that you have a blackout, you can actually have a brain damage. You're harming yourself. You're out of, not just from your comfort zone, but you're out from your own limits, and we never want to reach that. So freediving should be something when it stay within your limits, but at the same time you're trying to expand your limits and never trying to cross that. If it makes sense. So there are researchers
Makes complete
that
sense.
holding your breath, it's not damaging your brain. But if you do something less stupid, then yeah, it can be dangerous. So stay safe, follow the rules, and if
Safety
you don't
first.
know how to do, then get an instructor, get a coach, and let yourself guided into the freediving journey instead of making all the mistakes on your own or with someone that you actually don't know how it works.
Yeah, thank you, Fatima. So our next question is about two things, so very connected. How does it feel to go so deep? And if you ever experienced the feeling of narcosis? And if you could explain to us a little bit about that effect, like how does it work, why it happens, if it happens, and how does it feel to dive so deep?
Okay, so to really know how does it feel, you have to experience it, but you don't have to go that deep, like Alex emotional, for example, or not even like me, because it's your own depth you're trying to discover. It's not my depth, it's not anyone else competitive athlete's depth, it's your depth. So for some people, this depth is going to be 20, for someone is 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, 130. That's the current record.
For one person.
So it depends on. But diving deep is like a deep
How does it feel for you?
It's a deep meditation. You're when you're preparing for your dive, you're on the surface and you're just breathing like before you would fall asleep. And the only thing on your mind is about dive. You just quickly visualize again how it's gonna be and how wonderful it's gonna be. What are the tasks that you have to do during the dive, and then you prepare for the last big breath, which there is a certain way how to do it. As a competitive freediver, I'm not really thinking about anymore about how I'm going to take my breath, because I did it so many times that this is just a routine that I do. And then the journey begins already with the last breath. And then you stop breathing, and you start going down and the depth following the line. And in discipline, what you're doing is a little bit different because you're using different muscles. One is like a little bit less comfortable because you put more effort in it, like in the CNF diving. Free immersion is the smoothest one because you glide, pulling yourself by the rope. And obviously, there are always some negative thoughts. They're like trying to sneak in, like, oh, am I really relaxed? Am I prepared to do this dive? that these thoughts, they're just crossing, and then you have to like watch these thoughts, they're crossing your mind, and then you just let them like flow away. And you keep descending because you're prepared for it. You know what you are doing. You know every second, every meter of your dive, what is going to happen. But at the same time, you have to be also flexible because anything can come in, and then you shouldn't be freaked out if something changes, like some water movement comes, some currents. Then you have to still keep moving with the water. And also be prepared to potentially change your dive plan. Like, I would never put myself in risk because I don't feel well, for example, or there's a hard current, just to be able to reach my target depth. So my health and my well-being and feeling good is always the first target in all of my dives. And when you keep descending, there are going to be less and less noise. It's going to be more darker. I'm closing my eyes, so I don't see anything. I don't smell anything. So because I don't have these two sensations, there are going to be a big improvement in just feeling the water and listening to my own thoughts. So this is very constant that usually I talk to myself, which is the very...
What do you think of?
I think on the
what's in your mind when you're like, I don't know, like 60, 70, 80 meters deep?
What is on my mind is I'm focusing on equalization, like diving deeper than 50 meters. It already requires tricks in the equalization, and I don't really want to get into it because this is not a freediving course.
Yeah.
But going deeper than 50 meters, that already needs a very well prepared training, and also a good knowledge about how you equalize your sinuses, everything that you hear, the air spaces from your surrounding pressure. So that's what I focus on. That's what I focus. I use a technique which I would not say I don't recommend for the people, but it needs a big flexibility. It's called reverse packing. I don't know, maybe some of you know. I really don't want to get into it. So that means that my face can keep calm because I'm not putting the air in my cheeks. So I'm basically using my glottis and my thumb movement to suck air up from my lungs and to equalize it. So this requires a huge relaxation. So this is what I'm focused on being relaxed and not using any of my muscles except the muscles I need to equalize and keep streamlining. And I just enjoy falling because after a while you stop moving, and this is the free fall, which is the most magical feeling in freediving, and just that discipline you can actually experience it. So the free fall is something like flying in the water weightlessly, and you do that until you reach the bottom. When you reach the bottom, there is always a big yoo-hoo! I reached the bottom. That's amazing.
And
so
then
amazing.
another 80 meters to go up.
Yeah, like this yoo-hoo is so amazing. It's never like that, right? So you're never gonna see a freediver reaching to the 80, 90, 100 meter and do this because you're in slow motion. You're completely in a different world. Your mind is just like becoming one with the water, with your surroundings, with yourself, and it's darker there. You can't hear anything. I personally don't open really my eyes. Sometimes I do open it on the bottom and I just look around and there's blue everywhere, and it's really beautiful, and you feel so fragile and so small, and and at the same time so wonderful, and you're happy for the success that you reached your target, because it's still a target when you set your depth that you would like to do on a competition. So, and then you remember, oh, yeah, that was just the halfway, so okay, it's time to go up. So on a competition, you grab a tag because that has to be taken and you have to show it for the judges on the surface. And on the way up there, the hard work starts. So on the first pools, it's fine. You're focusing or pool or kicks or whatever discipline you're doing. It's fine. You feel energetic. You feel human, ideally, right? So the first part of your dive is beautiful. That I feel energetic and I feel like, yeah, this is amazing. I love doing it. And then you keep ascending, and there is already, you've been in the water for quite a time, you know, more than 1.5 minutes, and you are still down in the depth of the sea. So that's where it comes in, my self-motivation. Usually I'm thinking about my parents, how they're smiling, and some things what they're always telling me, like you can do this, you love doing it, you really enjoyed it, and this is what I tell to myself as well. Like, this is why you're doing it. You love this feeling, and then you just keep gliding, and you do the movements what you were trained to do for a long time. Because deep diving, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen just because you travel to somewhere where there is enough depth. It doesn't mean you're going to be able to reach the bottom of that sea. And so we talked about it. It's a lot of training and a lot of dedication, and just because you have a good equipment, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to dive deep. And just because you have the mindset of diving deep, maybe you don't have the fitness or the body conditions to dive deep. So all of these different things, they have to be on the same level to reach your own depth, like the equipment, your mental, and your physical state. So
That's
when you
nice.
reach the 20 meters on the way up, that's when it comes the first, like, ooh, I'm close to the surface. The angels, they arrive. Your safety divers, and then you can slow down a bit because you're already close to the surface, but you never give up on your dive. So you keep doing it, but you're just doing slow, more graceful movements in the last 20, 15, depends on meters, and then you let yourself by the water to bring you back as your lungs, they're expanding back to their normal size. It's going to help you to float back to the surface. And then last meters, you focus on the surface protocol, which is something that we were debating about after the World Championship, because the surface protocol is important to, you know, prove for the judges that it's clear, but it also a little bit takes away your it's gonna sound weird, but your orgasm feeling after the dive. So you would like come out from the dive and you would do the recovery breath, which restores your oxygen level. And then if that would be just like a dive that I'm doing with the friends on a training dive, I would be like, you know, screaming a little bit, or like, oh my God, that was so amazing. But instead of doing that, you have to focus and you have to do the surface protocol, which is take out all the facial equipment and then show the okay sign and say that I am okay. And when you said that, then you can be like, oh my God, that is amazing. And then
You can start cheering.
So there's a huge boost in endorphins after a dive like that, and it's a huge stress on your body. And if you're holding your breath, you're totally in another world. So when you finish the dive and you take those first breaths, it's like every time you feel like you were reborn again. if it sense in a way. So since I'm freediving and I'm holding my breath, I just appreciate breathing in general more than ever before. And a lot of people, they take that granted, like breathing. Yeah, of course I'm breathing. Yeah, I think when you become conscious about your breathing as a freediver or even as someone who's doing yoga, then you're gonna be more connected to yourself through your breathing. About narcosis, I also don't
Yeah,
want to get.
narcosis. Have you ever experienced it?
So I was a scuba diver before, and I was always pushing myself, trying to like put myself in the bottom of the sea, trying to experience narcosis, because I was just, I'm a weirdo in this in this way. I was just so curious, how does that feel, being narked underwater? And it never happened with me on scuba diving, although
And
I went.
freediving?
And freediving, it happened. I don't know if Natalia Zarakova, she's ever gonna watch this video, but it happened with her. Fun fact. So I wanted to do a dive while not doing for a longer time deep freediving, because I was doing my basic training, and we were like, okay, we're gonna go to the blue hole. So Natalia Zarakova was the current CMAX world record holder in biathlon, and I didn't know her because I was not really into the athletes. I didn't really research who are the world record holders, who are the athletes, and then she just came to the hub, and then we ended up training together. And on the training session, I remember she told me, you're doing quite well on your diving, and she was like, I'm sure you could do more, because you feel very comfortable. I was like, yeah, I feel comfortable. I was like, what's your PB? PB means the personal best. And she was like, it's 81 is the current world record in the same minutes. And I was like, wow, that's cool, I guess. Congratulations. And then the next session, we went to the blue hole, and then we dropped the line. And that's when I had my first narcosis, because that was a mistake, what I did. I felt very, very confident because of the nice comments of Natalia. And although my original plan was to do a 60-meter dive on that day, after not diving to 60 meters for 2.5 months, I was like, yeah, I can do 60 meters. But then we went to the blue hole, and instead of 60, we were like, let's do it to 70. And then instead of 70, it's you should never do that. But we ended up doing the line to 75, which was kind of a mistake. So you always have to check your line, that it has the accurate depth that you would like to dive to. So we set the line, and I did the 75 meter. That was my PB on that day, an unexpected PB. And on the way up, because I was not adapted to the depth, I got narked. So being narked on a scuba dive is kind of fine, because on a scuba dive, you can go a little bit up, and then you're gonna get out the pressure, and then the narcosis is gonna be relieved. But in freediving, it doesn't work like that, because you're not breathing. So when you get knocked on freediving and you keep ascending, the narcosis is gonna be stronger and stronger. So the narcosis started at the bottom after like a few meters, and I was going up, and I had a feeling that I'm gonna black out, because I never had that feeling before, and I was like, how is it possible I'm gonna black out? I mean, like, it's not possible. I'm just doing like I don't know, like a 70-meter dive, which is fine. It was a 75-meter dive, but I didn't know about it. And it wasn't a blacking out. It was not because of the lack of oxygen. It was because of the nitrogen narcosis. So basically, I started to feel as I would have like 3 shots of palinka. The palinka is the Hungarian national drink that all the Hungarians know about. Or I could say like 3 shots of whiskey. So I started to feel dizzy and a bit tipsy. But with the time I was surfacing, I had seen different, colorful lights coming to me with my closed eyes, and I started to be more and more drowsy and a little bit feeling sick. But I kept my focus on my movements, even though it was hard to control because I was kind of drunk while going up. And I was very happy when I reached the surface, and after the first breath, all these uncomfortable, drunk feeling, it went away. So this is how you know it wasn't hypoxia, it was a narcosis because it went right away. I didn't feel any any signs of a blackout. It was it was just a not well planned dive. So my recommendation on that, every people experience narcosis in a different level. Like I could never experience it on scuba diving, but I did experience on a 75-meter dive. Most of the people they experience it much deeper, like below 90, most of the time. But anything can happen. There's not many research on that because freediving is a very new sport. But be conservative and don't jump many meters when you're doing your training.
Do it progressively always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Well, not great that you had to experience that and you didn't know the exact depth, but yeah, everyone should definitely do it with the instructor safety and be safe always when diving. But I think we have a couple of more questions. I'm not gonna take all of them because we have 10 minutes left, but this is also a frequently asked question, and I think it's interesting because it's unique. Probably people ask, does age matter in freediving, or to start freediving, or to do it until a certain age? And I think it's the answer is interesting. So what do you think?
Yeah, because we have 10 minutes, the answer is going to be very short. No.
No.
No. No, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
You can start it early and you can do it until a long time. Yeah. I have seen people holding their breath for over 6 minutes and over 65.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because freediving is not about to reach a certain requirement or being able to reach a competitive level. Freediving is about freediving. It's about being free in the water and holding your breath. So anyone can do that. It's like, is anyone too old to learn swimming? No, you can learn swimming anytime if you don't have health conditions.
Yeah,
which,
exactly.
Hopefully not the case. So for any extreme sport activity that you're planning to do, obviously it's good if you check with your doctor. And if you don't have any health conditions, then go for it.
Nice. Okay, so everyone can start freediving at any age.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to throw my last question, which is like 2-in-1 type of question, and it's about the connection between you also apply in your everyday life, maybe, and that you would maybe for that reason you would recommend people to try freediving or do freediving, and yeah, let's answer that question and maybe I will have an extra. So
okay, wait,
basically
what
like
the beginning?
Yeah, so I wanted to know the connection between freediving and everyday life. Like, what is it that freediving has maybe taught you? What are your biggest takeaways from freediving that that you can also apply in your in your everyday life. I'm thinking about stuff like, you know, control, motivation. What is it that you can maybe take away from freediving and apply it into your everyday life?
It's a good question. You can have and you can learn the same experiences when doing other extreme sports. Or you don't have to be extreme, by the way. You can run and learn the same experiences from your running journey than from freediving. Freediving is a little bit different, and it can be more intense because it happens in a short amount of time. It's limited because it's limited by the depth. We are limited by our own body, basically. So you're not going to be able to just like keep diving and diving like a whale and not run to your limits. And then, you know, in running, it can happen for hours and hours. But in freediving, all the experience, all the feelings, everything, what is happening to you, it's packed into a very short amount of time. So that's why it's a very mental sport. And obviously there's a physical part, but freediving is not really complicated. It's not something. It's not like learning a very complicated dance movement and keep practicing that for years and years and then being able to go on the stage and perform it. It's pulling the line, it's kicking, doing breaststrokes. Like the movement is repetitive. So what I learned from freediving is that you have to basically go with the flow. So you have to listen to your body, and you have no idea that you can do something until you actually make the effort and do it. And you're going to be surprised how much you can take and how many things you can do with your body and with your mind. We are limiting ourselves so many times in life because of different reasons, like I don't have money, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I'm not inflexible, I could never do that. Or I don't speak the language, so I don't know, I'm not traveling, or I will never be able to get that job. But we use such a small percentage of our mind, and even with that small percentage, we can do amazing things. And when you start to be more self-conscious and you learn about your body and about our abilities that we are naturally born with, then you can realize that we can do amazing things. And holding your breath, it just reminds you that every single breath is worth, and you have to be grateful for it. And you have no idea when gonna be your last day, your last dive, your last breath. So I'm trying to live my life like that. And it doesn't mean that I'm completely well balanced and I'm like super healthy all the time, and I'm, you know, I just like find a way how to live, because for everyone else is different, and then you have to find your own purpose, your own happiness, and your own balance. So this is what I'm still working on it, and freediving just helps me. And I love freediving. So everyone should do whatever they love doing. And from any sport, you can learn a lot. It's moving you, it's increasing your blood flow, it's going amazing things to you when you get moving and you focus and you meditate. And freediving is everything at the same time. It's a deep meditation, it's a sport, it activates your muscles. It's bringing your focus to yourself, your thoughts, your body. So I think I answered the question.
You did, and thank you so much. So one last thing I wanted to ask you is, basically, what is the best thing for you about freediving, the one best thing, and if there's a message you want to send to everyone that's going to watch this video.
Okay. The one best thing in freediving.
For you.
I think I'm not gonna be able to say that in one word, but I will try to describe it.
Describe.
So my favorite thing about freediving is that feel my body and being in a quiet place where you can move like where you were flying. So I love the fact that you're kind of weightless in the water, and when I'm deep diving, I'm not even thinking about really to like that I'm holding my breath. It's just like something on the side that you have to do, and you have to be okay with it to experience the other wonderful thing that's happening during a free dive. You can feel your own heartbeat. You can feel the water rushing through your body. You're flying. You can feel and you can think about so many things during a free dive, and I think the whole experience in a package is just wonderful how it is. So I would recommend for everyone to try freediving if you haven't tried it before. Obviously, do it in a safe way. So please look for an instructor, look for a certified buddy, and try in a safe way, in a safe place. And what I would recommend for everyone who is already freediving is don't try to reach your limits. Don't push yourself. Don't force yourself to reach a certain depth. Be patient and be kind to yourself. And if you would like to reach a certain goal, let's say dive to a 70 meters, then put the work in it, but put the work in it in a way when you enjoy the journey. So the most important part in anything is not actually getting there and reaching your goal, but going through the experience and the journey and learning from it and making friends and having fun and get surprised and doing mistakes and doing failures and then learn from it and then keep trying, and this is life. So freediving is just like the real life. Sometimes you will be happy, you will succeed, and everything is going smoothly. And sometimes you have to overcome on barriers or hard times. You're not feeling well, maybe you're sick, and you always have to accept it, and you have to be understanding, and you just have to keep going if you love it. And if you stop loving it, then have a break. And then when you're already dying to free dive, then go back and start it over again.
Nice. I think that's a very nice message for everyone that's not doing or doing freediving. So, and I think we almost answered all questions that I wanted to ask. We have had some more, and I saw a lot of people also writing here. But we're going to try to gather them and do maybe like posting in stories some answers. So we're going to try to do that. And thank you so much, Fatima, for being here with us today. I really appreciate your time and sharing your journey with us. And I hope to see you sometime in person.
Well, definitely.
And dive together.
Thank you very much, Nushi. It was actually your idea, the Seasterhood's idea, and thank you very much for the invitation. I was always planning somehow to do a live, but I was like, I don't want to do it alone. So I was very happy that I could have this conversation with you. And I hope some of the people, they got some insight in freediving. And I got also a lot of questions, and we didn't have the time to answer all the questions, and we are already out of time. But thank you very much for everyone to being here and joining us, or for the people there watching this video after we made it online and posted it.
Yes.
And if you have any questions about freediving, I'm very glad to answer it basically anytime. If I'm not answering right away, it's because I'm busy, but I'm gonna get there and answer all the questions that you would ask me in the future. So I'm glad to talk about freediving always, because this is something I love doing and I love talking about.
Amazing. Thank you so much once again, Fatima, and we'll see you guys somewhere in the water. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.